So what just happened there? Why did you laugh? Why did you smile? Did you hear that little voice in your head saying, "Oh, what's so funny?" There was nothing apparently funny, yet we had a wave of laughter ripple through the group for no apparent reason. What's that about? What we just experienced was very simple, but very profound. Did you make a conscious decision to laugh? Or did it just arise spontaneously? Where did the laughter come from if you didn't consciously choose to laugh? What really just happened here? What if laughter is the voice of that which connects us all? What if laughter shows us the degree to which we are really interconnected? What if laughter is really a powerful spiritual practice? I'd like to invite you to join me this morning as I explore those questions, sharing with you my experience as a laughter yoga teacher. A couple of years ago, I read a magazine article in Ode magazine, it's the magazine for intelligent optimists, about the science of laughter. And when I read that there was a practice called laughter yoga, in which people would get together to laugh for no other reason than the health of it and the fun of it, I just knew I had to do that. Now, I didn't know what it meant to be a laughter leader. I had no idea what that would even entail. I just knew that I was feeling called to follow that, to pursue that. So it was that inner voice, that inner spark at my core that was leading me to follow my bliss, as the saying goes, just by following my gut intuition. So I trusted it, went to the Laughter Yoga website, read a little bit more, found a training program, signed up, and I started down this path of laughter, not having any idea where it would lead. Now, as it turns out, stepping onto the path of laughter has been a bit like discovering the doorway to a magical kingdom. Since I started training to be a laughter yoga leader a year ago, laughter has become the dominant theme of my life, as well as a daily regular practice. I have opportunities to laugh with people, to share deep, hearty, genuine belly laughs on a very regular basis. And the endorphins that are released as a result leave me just about nearly on a perpetual high, filled with enthusiasm for being alive, overflowing with energy, filled with awe and wonder, feeling just in love with people and life itself. Now, early on in my journey, I discovered that laughter yoga also answered a deep question that I've been pondering, a question that's had life-altering effects. Several months prior to beginning my laughter yoga leader training, I'd set out to explore what does it mean to truly live the word namaste. We hear that word all the time, and we say it fairly casually, but as I thought about what it really meant, and it means the divine in me sees the divine in you, I realized I had only experienced this occasionally in just flickering moments here and there. Most of the time it remained more of an intellectual concept. I understood it, but it was relegated to the mind and often forgotten. So I had decided that I really wanted to genuinely learn what it would be to experience this deeply, to feel it, and to live my life as an expression of Namaste. So it wasn't until I began doing laughter yoga last year that my experience of living Namaste began to come alive in a big way. Laughter, as it turns out, is a natural yet powerful means of connecting with other people. And laughing while intentionally making eye contact is profoundly transformative. You see, the practice of laughter yoga is based upon the fact that we can laugh for no reason, simply by taking advantage of the contagiousness of laughter. If people come together with a willingness to laugh, the group can quickly erupt into spontaneous laughter simply by making eye contact while initiating laughing sounds. So how does that work exactly? Well, it turns out that the human body is wired to pick up on the social signals of others. Let's take a detour over to the biology lab where we can study a little neuroscience to understand the physical mechanisms at work here. So when we interact with other people in any way, our body communicates our intentions and our feelings through gestures, facial expressions, and body postures. We have specialized nerve cells in our brains that are designed to pick up on those nuances of this body communication. And what researchers have discovered is that these nerve cells, often called mirror neurons, because they are mirroring back other people's emotions and actions, these nerve cells fire when we are observing somebody else express emotion. And this begins a cascade of neurological response within our own brain that generates that same emotion within ourselves, although it's at a much more subdued level. So even if we're barely consciously aware of that activity going on in our brain, these mirror neurons are essentially providing an internal imitation of the emotions of others. This is confirmed in the lab, where neuroscientists are able to use sophisticated brain imaging technology to analyze even the tiniest changes in nerve cell activity and blood flow in the brain. The classic studies have had patients looking at pictures of happy faces and sad faces without moving any facial muscles of their own. They discovered that the part of the brain that creates the feeling of happiness lit up when the subjects just looked at a smiling face. And the subjects then reported feeling a sense of lightness, of ease, almost feeling happy themselves. Then, when the subject activated their own smile muscles, in addition to looking at the smiling face, the happy part of the brain lit up even further, activating even more happy neurons. Now, you intuitively know this already. We pick up on the signals of others, whether they're angry, despondent, or exuberant. The saying, "I feel your pain," is at some level literally true. We don't necessarily feel the physical pain that somebody else is experiencing, but in our brains, we resonate with the emotional pain that they may be experiencing with the hurt. Likewise, when you see somebody smiling broadly, you find yourself inclined to smile back for no reason. We don't need to speak to communicate what we're feeling. Our body intuits it through these perceptive signals in our brains. This, of course, is the very essence of empathy, the beautiful human capacity to pick up on the emotions of others and to relate to their experience. It's the essence of human connection. Now, even if we're not consciously tuning into the emotions of others, our brains are recording all of that emotional data in our subconscious mind, replicating those emotions at some level in our own mental script. The implications of this are rather profound, for it suggests that our experience of the world is not simply a matter of our own individual perception, independent of other people. Rather, in every social interaction, we are automatically internalizing the experience of others somewhere within our brains. My brain recreates your emotion within my brain in an attempt to better understand you, and vice versa. I laugh, and you find yourself laughing too. We are more inextricably linked than we ever even realized. When we look at just the neurological activity of our brains, we discover that the line between observer and observed has become blurred. As you and I are interacting and perceiving the world, where do you end and where do I begin? Are we really separate, or is that an illusion? What does each one of us do? What each one of us does and feels really does affect the whole. Now, our understanding of mirror neurons begins to give us a foundation for understanding how we're all interconnected, physiologically and emotionally, and it helps us to understand the mechanics of the contagiousness of laughter. But what does that translate to outside the intellect, in the experiential realm? Let's return now to my personal journey, in which I went to Albuquerque last August to go to Certified Laughter Yoga Teacher Training. Now, this training course was 5 days long, and a group of about 40 of us laughed together every day as part of the training. We were doing laughter yoga, in which we make eye contact and simulate laughter in an exercise, which then initiates an eruption of spontaneous, mirthful, contagious laughter within the group. Now, at the end of the week, after 5 days of laughing together, I discovered with awe and amazement that the group laughter had given me that experience that I sought when I set out to live, ask what it means to live namaste. What it is to experience oneness while interacting with another person. 5 days of playfulness, hearty laughter, and eye contact with 40 members of my new laughter family gave me a first-hand experiential knowledge of what it truly feels like to look at somebody and see only their divine nature. Again and again, I looked deeply into the eyes of others while laughing and wondered in awe and depth of their beauty and uniqueness. Together, we shared the emotion of joy, and I saw the power of every person's creative potential just waiting to be unleashed. This, at last, was what it felt like to truly see another person, to discover that what I saw at the core of them was also what I knew to be at the core of me. Laughter was the light that was shining brightly from within us all, and suddenly it became evident that there was only one light. The simple practice of laughter had pierced that illusory veil of my mind and its perception of separateness, and had opened the doorway to oneness. The act of laughing together, not laughing at someone or at something, but laughing simply for the pure joy of it, had given me new eyes through which to see people, almost like getting a new crystal clear prescription for the glasses through which I see the world. No more could I see others as separate from myself. After laughing with others, every cell in my body could feel the extent to which we are not only interconnected, but we are simply unique manifestations of a greater whole. Now, with this awareness fresh in my experience, I turned my sights to the next horizon, that of international travel. If I could experience oneness with a group of 40 people in a conference room in Albuquerque, New Mexico, wouldn't it be possible to also share this experience with people in other countries and use the power of laughter to establish bonds that would ultimately lead to the interconnectedness of all of humanity, essentially creating one great big global laughter family? Over the next few months, I worked together with a friend to begin carving out the vision, a laughter travel program in which we would bring groups to visit laughter clubs around the world with the greater mission of world peace through laughter. My theory was simply that laughter is the universal language. You don't need to speak the same words in order to connect at the heart. And laughter is the language that fosters these connections. Laughter, I wrote in the promotional materials, transcends national boundaries and cultural differences. Laughter is the language that unites us all. Now, our first itinerary took us on a laughter tour of Switzerland, Northern Italy, Slovenia, and Austria in May of this year. We contracted a bus. We called it the Laughter Bus. And we rounded up a few passengers to join us on this joyride of a lifetime. Now, although I'd been holding this clear vision of what the tour could be, a program in which people from different cultures united through the practice of unconditional laughter, I must confess that this concept dwelled merely in the realm of my intellect. Despite my profound experience of discovering oneness during the week-long training in Albuquerque, and despite my experiences of laughing with locals here in Idaho every week since then, I had not yet laughed with anyone who didn't actually speak English, and nor had I laughed in a setting that would allow me to test my theory that laughter actually does transcend national boundaries. So off we went to Europe, where we laughed with new friends in Switzerland, Italy, Austria, had a fantastic, incredible time. Showing up in a foreign country on a laughter tour is a way to make instant friends. We were welcomed like family everywhere we went. We'd begin by laughing with the local laughter club, and then we'd visit and share more laughs and stories late into the night, establishing friendships and warm connections that are the essence of any memorable travel experience. Most of the people we visited spoke excellent English, so the communication flowed easily, even beyond the laughter sessions. When we arrived in Slovenia, where the local laughter yoga leader had organized the first ever international festival of laughing without reason, I was delighted to step into a new realm. Here, most of the participants did not speak English, and so the laughter sessions were conducted in Slovenian, not in English. Now, finding myself immersed in a setting in which the primary language was completely foreign to my ears, I discovered myself in a different state of awareness. The language center of my brain found itself unable to comprehend any familiar utterances, and thus it faded into the background, allowing my full range of other senses to become more keenly attuned to my surroundings. In this state of relatively heightened awareness, enhanced by the joyful spirit of music being played at the festival, I discovered myself connecting to the other participants from the heart, rather than having a mostly cerebral experience. Eye to eye with women and men who spoke no English, and I only one word of Slovenian. We laughed together again and again, while I found myself falling into the bottomless abyss of bliss that is the essence of oneness. Without a single word between us, only the sound of laughter ringing in my ears, I felt the warmth of connection drawing me deeper and deeper in love with every person I encountered. Looking into the smiling eyes of the joyful Slovenians, I heard my heart whispering, family. At last, I'd experienced fully what I'd been writing about in all my promotional materials I'd prepared for the tour. Laughter is the universal language. We are a global laughter family. Although laughter is expressed through many voices with many different tones and unique nuances, there is only one song. When we laugh, we are aligning our emotional, physical, and psychological bodies with the divine and allowing it to express through us. And when we laugh together, looking into each other's crinkled eyes, we have the opportunity to allow that universal consciousness to see itself, to see our joy mirrored back to us, and to truly, deeply know that we are here to connect with one another. I'll forever love Slovenia for the place it holds in my memory, the place where I first deeply experienced laughter as the universal connection between perceived foreign languages and cultures. I don't know the names of most of the people I laughed with that day, but the feeling in my heart is that of having spent the day with cherished family members. These deep experiences of oneness continue to influence my day-to-day experience, allowing me to see the spark within everyone, even if we're not laughing together. As a result of laughter yoga, my heart has exploded, unable to contain the torrential flow of love that is pouring through me and into the world. Laughter has given me the gift of an open heart, and I am forever changed. We can analyze the many threads of the interconnected web of humanity. We can meditate on the awareness of oneness. We can talk about celebrating the extent to which we're more alike than we are different. But the act of laughing together gives us the experience of all of those things. Laughter brings us immediately out of our heads, our busy, thinking, analytical minds, and takes us directly into our bodies, where we can sense our interconnectedness at a more intuitive level. Next time you are sharing a laugh with somebody, no matter what the reason, pause and notice the physical sensations in your body. Notice the other person's sparkling eyes. Notice their body language, the lightness of being. Your subconscious mind is already doing it. Now, when you bring conscious awareness to the act of laughter, it can be even more powerful. Just allow yourself to wonder, what if what you're experiencing when you laugh together is the voice of that which connects us all? The song of that inner light that's at the core of each and every one of us. I'd like to conclude with one of my favorite exercises that I often do in my laughter yoga classes. It's called Namaste Laughter. So if you are willing, able, and want to participate, what we do is put our hands together in front of our heart, like Namaste. And you're going to turn to the person next to you, and you're going to make deliberate eye contact. And then you're going to say, Namaste. And share a little chuckle, okay? Let's try it. Namaste. The more we practice spreading smiles with each other here, the easier it is to do so out in the world, where we can make a powerful difference, simply by the act of smiling and laughing together. We are deeply interconnected, and with that knowledge, we can take it upon ourselves to be powerful agents of change in the world. Your smile and your laughter do make a difference in the brain of every person you encounter. Go forth and spread some smiles, share some laughs, and do so with the conscious awareness that you are being the change that you want to see in the world. Laugh on, my friends, laugh on.